はい。はい。
お願いします。
お願いします。ありがとうございます。はい。こんだ。はい。サイズ。はい。Knee to shoulders. Circles one way. And the other way. Hey. Arms. And back. And backs. Wait. Inside. Crossing. Catch. And close. Hey. Nice and lucky. Change. Oh. Hey. Benji. Yoko. Hey. He. Ko. He. Ko. Dan. He. Ko. Hey. Oh. Hey. Knees. Very close. The other side. Ish. Down. Open your toes. Ki, ko, ki, ko, dan, ki, ko. A little bit of rhythm with your legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Continue with extension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep hinges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Open your legs, lowering. And it's almost forward, almost touching the ground. Back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, forward, back. Open to one side. And the other side. Hey, hips up. Hips down. Hips up. Hips down. One more time, hips up. And spine up. And circles. Right, and the other side. Hey, that side. Over it. Change. Toes up. Change. And in front. Change. Open legs. Elbows down. Forward. Wait. Back stretch. Forward again. Hips up. Down. Hips up. Hips down. Hips up. Hips down. And back. Hey. Down and back stretch. Hey, legs up. Knees down. Curving. Sitting. And in and forward. Hey. Open your legs again. So this is basically the first Friday morning session that we have since we came back from Japan. Since we went to Japan, actually. And one thing that especially these floor exercises, which are part of the Makoho series a little bit that we have done before, it's exercises that most instructors do in all the classes. Definitely the Ueshiba do it in Goyo-cho, and Doshu do it in their class, and also pretty much the other two or three instructors that we went to classes also do it. It's on one hand, it's very good to see that the importance of a good, thorough warm up. It's still very much a part and parcel of all classes, yeah, which is good, and you can see the level of physical attention that some people do. It was really good, for example, to see. I think, for example, Doshu may not be in his best physical condition. He started doing the warm up in one of the classes, and he clearly struggled doing part of the warm up. But Doyo Cho, his son, was here in the class, and then when Doshu just struggled doing some part of the warm up, he just instructed Doyo Cho to come and do it, and then he proceeded to do the rest of the warm up in a much more vigorous sense. So. It's good to see that, in a way it's an important element of the practice. Obviously, with time and sometimes physical conditions and things like that, people are unable to do it or to do it in the best way as possible, and that there is no skipping of that part. So, for example, the Makoho, this set of exercises, sometimes I have asked Irena to demonstrate them instead of me because are not exercises that come to me easily. Maybe I should be more consistent with them and improve them. I'm too stiff on my hips and on my hip joint. So Irena does a much better example of demonstrating these exercises than I do. So, but anyway, so it's important to see that they are still very much part of the training regime, and that when an older person is unable to do them, they are not skipped and someone else does them. Another exercise is this one, when you go on your knees and you go basically back as far as you can. If you have flexibility, you can go all the way down to your shoulders. Especially early in the morning is hard with me. So I can go to my hands. Maybe I can go to my elbows a little bit. Just try to reach as far as you can. And coming up. And give yourself stretch forward. And karao. Oh. Yes, I. So, yeah. Yeah. Hey, okay, so before we move into our Ukemi exercises and our theme of the week, which we'll be doing during in the dojo, just again, just a few words and a reflection on Japan for if you haven't heard me, if you haven't been able to come to the dojo in the last week or so. But it was again, it's always a privilege, obviously, to be able to travel. I think COVID made that really clear for all of us. But not only that, your own health, your own commitments, your own financial situation, a number of things that is never really taken for granted, just the very action of traveling and being able to take that time to do that. So basically, I've been several times to Japan, but I think every time, obviously, you go, it's a little bit like going back again and reading a book, that you have to keep reading different times of your life. And if it's, usually that happens with books that you read something when you are in your early 20s and something catches your eye, and then you read it in your 10 years later and something else catches your eye. And then you keep reading the book, and sometimes you're amazed that you have read the book already 4 or 5 times, and you can hardly remember that passage. You go like, can't remember that. You have favorite parts of the book, and you go, oh yeah, these parts are great. And then you kind of, in a way, look forward to those parts of the book, to those moments in the story. But which is cool. I mean, that's always a good thing to look forward to the things that you like. But I think the thing that I find more interesting with experiences like that is just to read parts and just realize how little attention or how little capacity you had at a particular time in your life to be able to notice or to appreciate something in the story. And that happens very often with books. And I think that happens a lot with travel, especially if you're lucky enough to have a place like Japan, like Hombu Dojo, that you can travel several times and do the same process. It's like, oh yeah, of course there are certain things that you like doing around that place and certain things that you enjoy and look forward to. But the most interesting thing is all the little things that you don't notice before, and that suddenly becomes so relevant that you go like, how come this is so important? I haven't really noticed it. So there's a couple of pedagogical things that I found really interesting, in during the classes that I will share in the Shidoin class next time that I see the black belts and the Shidosha to do that. But apart from that, I think a constant reminder is the commitment of the Ueshiba family to maintain the dojo, to be the central part of the dojo, to teach every day in the morning, and to do it in a way that gives a very basic framework of starting point for then everybody else to kind of do their own thing. So I think that role of somebody, in a very disciplined manner, continue doing again and again very basic techniques. It's something that again we do not appreciate enough. Sometimes we tend to criticize very quickly, that role, as here we go again, Shomenuchi Minage. How many times can you do it? Is there nothing else? Is there nothing new? And that's just a reflection on our own process rather than what the arts require and what the arts really are about. And I think that again, we went to, I don't know, like six classes or something like that, but most of them with the Ueshiba family. And yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as, it always, you always go there, especially with someone like me, you go there, and it always amazes me, although I already know that that's the case. There is nothing that they are not going to do that is not the most basic of the basics techniques. So, the class is going to be dynamic. It's going to be, again, exciting because you're with so many other people from around the world. Obviously, the Ueshiba family is there. But the techniques in themselves is just your most basic Q grading syllabus, for example. And again, every time you go out, you kind of part of me, it's amazed about that fact. But it amazes me that it amazes me, and also it again gives me the chance to be grateful that someone is holding that place, and then everybody else can go out and practice whatever they think Aikido is and explore it and so on. So that's number one. And number two is obviously, as I mentioned, too, because of the demonstration and because of the amount of people who go to Hombu Dojo. Suddenly, when you go to events like this, you feel that there is a lot of people. Like in the demonstration, there were over 10,000 people or something like that in one place. Hombu Dojo was really busy because everybody comes for this event. So there were 150 people on the mat in a dojo that is not really that much bigger than the Surrey Hills Hall. As in, if you think the Surrey Hills Hall from wall to wall, which is the whole space, Hombu Dojo is not 2 times bigger than that. It's a little bit bigger than that, but not, not even 2 times bigger. Probably not even half bigger than that. It's just a bit bigger than that. And then you walk in there, 150 people suddenly. So suddenly you feel, amazed by the amount of people training. But what we need to remember is that most of those people come from dojos where there is only 2 people, 3 people training, 4 people. Sure, Hombu Dojo is different because of its quality, but many dojos around the world, many of the dojos who participated in the All Japan demonstration and things like that are dojos where somebody goes, 2 times, 3 times a week, whatever the commitment is, and they have 2 people, 3 people showing up sometimes nobody, and they do their thing. They put their grain of sand in the enormous contribution, in the enormous painting of this big beautiful painting that look like in the Aikido demonstration, and everybody puts their little contribution. And then they go back to the dojo, and again, there's only 2 or 3 of them, doing their thing. I think that is something that I feel quite grateful and inspired about, because sometimes we obviously get inspired by big classes with a lot of people and things like that, and that's great, your big seminars. But then the single action of somebody just going back to the little town or the little suburb or somewhere, and just doing their thing for 2 times, 3 times a week with 1 or 2 other people. Yeah, that's in a way, when you think about it, that's the way kind of I see it a little bit. That's inspiring, because when there are big classes with a lot of people, that's good. But to continue the discipline and the commitment in those moments, and there's a lot of people like that around the world. So I definitely think that's something that we need to appreciate. And then, yeah, this is great. There's an opportunity for all of them to come together and be in the 10,000 together doing this thing, and feel that everybody's wearing hakamas and keikogis around you. That's a good feeling too. And then say high five and go back to your place and keep doing your thing. So anyways, so I get that those were my 2 little reflections of this time in over there, and yeah, glad, and hopefully we'll do it all over again next year. All right, you get it, please. So. And up to your knees. Hey, you're Ukemi. Very simple, Ukemi. uh, Ikkyo Ukemi, because that's the theme of the week that we've been working this whole month. We're going to be working on Ikkyo, and all its varieties and differences and variations and so on. Before doing that, one thing that I forgot about Japan, I didn't forget, one thing that I didn't mention just then, that also was very inspiring and very thankful for is for the commitment of two teachers, really. That, as I said, well, the commitment of three groups of teachers. I think that it's good to see our seniors, and as all of us are, with the responsibility of some firms, as imperfect as we all are as individuals and as transmitting what we want to do, the commitment and the passion and the love for things is important to recognize. And as I say, the Ueshiba family, as teachers, holding that place of center, that role models to everybody, how Aikido should be. It's inspiring. The other thing was obviously Moreno Shihan in terms of his health. He was there in Japan, and he's in the break between chemotherapies sessions. As some of you know, and we have put in social media, his treatment hasn't finished yet. He still has all of the month of June, and depending on how that goes, then further things may be required or not. Hopefully, it's fine. So he was okay. He was tired, a little bit tired, a little bit low energy, and a little bit sore on his joints, especially wrists and elbows. But again, doing his thing, and not much different from the energy and the commitment and the intensity that Sensei always wants to bring to the practice. So again, that is very inspiring to see somebody in battling with that and also doing their best, and also being amazed that their best is still so much better than what you can do. But again, that process. That thing I'm very thankful for and very inspired about. And the third thing was to see Tada Shikan, from Japan, who is 95 years old, still doing his All Japan Aikido demonstration contribution. This 95-year-old man who has been training Aikido for, I think, something like 75 years or something like that, or even more. Numbers are just mind-blowing. When you put things in that age, it's like when you think that you are not even 50, it's just incredible to think that somebody, who was already fully, grown up, was already very in the process of Aikido just way before you were being born is kind of mind-blowing. But so Tadashi Kan was there, 95, looking good, and God willing, we can see a person close to their 100 or in their 100 or after their 100 doing Aikido demonstrations, which it's again amazing as a concept. So yeah, good on you for those teachers that keep inspiring us in that way. So Ikkyo. So we've been practicing Ikkyo the whole week, and it's going to continue the whole month. It's very important with the Ikkyo, especially with Ikkyo Ukemi, to remember that when a person is applying Ikkyo, okay, we sometimes focus a lot on the importance of the mobility of your wrists and shoulders and elbow. So maybe let's just start with that first, and then we correct the thing. So remember, you raise your arm, your wrist turns, your elbow turns, your shoulder turns, your hip turns. Okay? So you raise your arm, wrist, elbow, shoulder, hip, and turn. Okay? Very important to see a little bit the independence of each joint. So elbow, hip. So up, wrist, elbow, shoulder, hip. Up, wrist, elbow, shoulder, hip. Up, wrist, elbow, shoulder, hip. Some people place a lot of attention or continue looking at the person after your turn. Again, I don't think that that's necessarily something that Sensei has mentioned too much. I think that is just an element of awareness or remaining present with the person, as opposed to forcefully try to turn. Sometimes if you are facing the person, you are forcing your hip to turn this way. And as long as that doesn't become a stubbornness, as long as you say, well, I'm facing, but then you are preventing your hip from turning, then it's a good thing. If you are facing someone and that's preventing your hip from opening, then that's not a positive habit, because you need to take the ukemi by opening that hip. Okay, so hand, elbow, shoulder, hip. If you can keep your eyes on that person, then that's okay. Okay, and hand, elbow, shoulder, hip. Continue, arm, elbow, shoulder, hip. And one more time. Arm, elbow, shoulder, hip. Okay. So now, once we know that we have a little bit of mobility in order to be able to perform it in our upper body, it's very important to place the lower body in a way that supports the action. So one thing that happens sometimes is we enter, for example, in Shomenuchi, person applies, and then, because we are used to being thrown or things like that, we make the mistake of moving the foot, the same foot or the same direction of the arm that is being controlled. This is never going to be a good idea, because you're basically putting your foot, on the way of the arm and of the body that is going to come down. So you take Ukemi, you pivot, for example, in this case, you make a space, okay? And in that space is where the Ukemi is going to take place, okay? So come in, for example, you pivot, okay? And sometimes the person, they break your balance a little bit, or they should break your balance at the moment of contact. That's what sometimes forces us to kind of walk in and then put our foot on the way. So, and the elbow, breaking balance at the moment of contact, but still having a space to go and do it. Okay. So as uke, please try to get used to certain sensations, because this is what the nage hopefully will try to do. You will raise your arm, your partner is going to break your balance, the elbow at the moment of contact. So you're going to be hopefully on kusushi. You're going to come down, you're going to have space for you to receive, as opposed to having your foot on the way. You're going to space, you see? And then, ideally, your partner is going to put your shoulder down first, and then your arm after. So, again, it's very important to get used to the fact that the shoulder goes down first, and the arm follows. So it's a little bit of a mobility kind of exercise where the shoulder is going to go down first and the arm goes, as opposed to the arm going down first or the hand going down. So up, receive, breaking your balance, moving, creating space, down, putting the shoulder and putting the hand. Inside, up. So, receiving with the body, spine, making space, down. Okay. So now, there's the easier part. Those are the basic elements for receiving from omote, which is the easy one. So now, ura, okay, is going to be a similar process. You're going to raise your hand. Your partner is going to come and affect your posture from the moment of contact. That's something that we were mentioning a lot as Naga and Uke. It's more or less easy to remember that in Shomenuchi Omote, when I enter, I affect Irena's position straight away. But sometimes in Ura, as Nage, I enter and Irena is vertical, and then I try to apply from this position. So this is something that Doro Sensei kind of reminded me when we were practicing in Japan. No, you enter, you have to affect the person's structure and then enter. Okay? So, as again, omote, which is a bit obvious because you are entering deeply. That's the other thing we mentioned during the whole week, your position, but hopefully we'll get there if we have time in this class. For the Ura, also enter, affect the position, and then control. Okay? In both cases, the spine of Nage, the spine of Uke must be somehow, a little bit out of alignment in order to be able to execute action afterwards. But especially, as I say, with Ura, we get a little bit lazy, we just raise, we hold, Uke is here, Uke's body hasn't moved at all, and then we try to move into Ikkyo. And sometimes Uke's don't yield to that idea. So anyways, so for Ura, you're going to raise, hopefully you're also going to affect. Now, because you're going to go into Ura form, which is in that direction, this is the part where the back foot has to follow to allow the space again to occur. Okay? If we are not careful, we enter, the person moves into Ura, I turn around, this foot is still in place, and then I wonder how to go down to the floor because this foot is in place. So up, enter, person goes, you follow, foot follows. You find the space and comes down. Very similar to what is going to happen with Yoko Minuchi in a minute. Okay, so you raise your arm, you get affected in Kusushi, your partner is going to go behind you, you follow with your back foot, make space, and find it. Again, enter, Kusushi, very important, as Nagi and Asuke to remember, moment of contact with Kusushi. Partner goes behind, your back foot follows, enter, and goes. Okay, so we do it more or less together, Irena. So Muke, and attack, Irena enters Nura, go here, slowly, you enter Pura, I follow. And then take to the side, he enters, now he moves Nura, I follow with my back foot. And yeah, but it's common, or sometimes you feel it as Nagi, that you enter, person who goes, Ura, the person doesn't move, and then this gets this position, and then it's like, I'm stuck. Yeah, because you never follow, because you never harmonize with the back foot. Okay, enter, back foot follows, makes space, and goes. Okay, thank you. Continue, please, just a couple more. Enter, break balance. You're going to go Ura, follow with your back leg, up, and down. One more. Enter, follow with your back foot, go, make space, and all right. Now, very much following that idea is what happens when we do Yoko Minuchi Ikkyo. So in this case, for example, I attack. So I go Yoko Minuchi, and then I enters. So remember, first of all, your Yoko Minuchi requires your same foot, same side to commit into the step. Okay? So if I'm here, stay there. If I'm here, you go boom, foot, hand move together. Right? I enter, and it is going to enter in Ura, boom, he controls. Now, she's going to come up, and then she's going to go omote. She's going to go that way. This is the same, this can be the same problem. If my foot is on the way, I'm going to have the same situation that I don't want for my Ikemi. So I enter, she goes forward, my foot goes forward, and then I find my way again. Okay, so on the plan. I enter with my foot. She's going to Ikkyo. She moves forward, I move forward. And then I apply. Okay, thank you. So with Yoko Minuchi, same idea. Yeah, Yoko. You attack, you commit with your body, with your entire action. What happens is your partner, hopefully, enters deep enough to harmonize with your Yoko. Now your partner is going to go forward. You step forward with them, go down, and receive. Inside, you enter, you're going to enter, boom, your arm stays behind because your partner entered to stop your Jokomen. They're going to go forward, you step forward, up, and receive. Side, you enter. Your partner stops your Jokomen. They are going to move forward. You move forward. Harmonize with the Ikkyo. You move forward. Okay. Down. And receive. Down. Ukemi. Enter. Let's move forward. Forward. Harmonize. And receive. More. Couple more. Ukemi. Enter. Harmonize. Move forward. Okay. Move forward. Down. And receive. Ukemi. Move forward. Harmonize. And receive. Okay. Next time that you're in the dojo and we do Yoko Manuchi Ikkyo, just study what's your natural reaction, because again, there will be certain natural reactions. Reaction number one will be to say, well, I know my partner is going to take me like that, so I pretend to do Yokomen, but I will not step because I know that I need a space, so I go lazy with my step, and then I know that there's going to be a space here. So that's not good. You have to move with your body, boom, and your partner has to, enter and commit. So that means that your foot is there. So once you have passed that thing, that you're actually committing with your body, now what do you do? Option one, do nothing, which means that line, that foot is on the way. Option two, tries to send the body to step back, because you know that you have to create space. Okay. Option three, sends the other foot forward. Right? Now, as a matter of harmony with emotion, you know that you cannot stay put because there is something on the way. If you try to go back, but the actual technique is going forward, you're going against the motion of the movement. So the only other option is to step forward with the movement and then receive into the uke. So when you do Yoko Menuchi, next time at the dojo, just please make sure to study three things. A couple of things. That your body moves together with your hands, that your body powers the motion of your hands, and that sometimes that motion gets stopped. And then how do you harmonize for the rest of the ukemi? Are they doing nothing? Are they going back? Or are they going forward? And then taking the picture. Okay? So I wanted to actually go through one important element of Ikkyo that we did this week, but we'll have to leave that for next week. We took the whole time on Ukemi Waza for the Ikkyo. All right. Ki, ko, ki, ko, san, ki, ko. Hey. Hey. Hey.
どうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。